Posture and Equilibrium. Chapter 157. Definition. Subconscious adjustment of tone in different muscles in relation to every movement is known as the posture. Significance of posture is to make the movement smooth and accurate and to maintain the line of gravity constant or to keep the body in equilibrium with line of gravity. Posture is not an active movement. It is the passive movement associated with redistribution of tone in different groups of related muscles. Basic phenomena of posture. Basic phenomena for maintenance of posture are muscle tone and stretch reflex. Muscle tone. Definition. Muscle tone is defined as the state of continuous and passive partial contraction of muscle with certain vigor and tension. It is also called tonus. It is also defined as resistance offered by the muscle to stretch. Significance of muscle tone. Muscle tone plays an important role in maintenance of posture. Change in muscle tone enables movement of different parts of the body. Muscle tone is present in all the skeletal muscles. However, tone is more in anti-gravity muscles such as extensors of lower limb, trunk muscles, and neck muscles. Development of muscle tone. Gamma motor neurons and muscle spindle are responsible for the development and maintenance of muscle tone. Muscle tone is purely a reflex process. This reflex is a spinal segmental reflex. It is developed by continual synchronous discharge of motor impulses from the gamma motor neurons present in the anterior gray horn of the spinal cord, Figs 157.1 and 157.2. Sequence of events. Impulses from the gamma motor neurons cause contraction of end portions of intrafusal fibers, stimulus. This stretches and activates the central portion of the intrafusal fibers, which initiates the reflex action for development of muscle tone by discharging the impulses. Impulses from the central portion of intrafusal fibers pass through primary sensory nerve fibers, afferent fibers, and reach the anterior gray horn of spinal cord. These impulses stimulate the alpha motor neurons in anterior gray horn, center. Alpha motor neurons in turn, send impulses to extrafusal fibers of the muscle through spinal nerve fibers, efferent fibers. These impulses produce partial contraction of the muscle fibers resulting in development of muscle tone, response. When the frequency of discharge from gamma motor neurons increases, the activity of muscle spindle is increased and muscle tone also increases. Stimulation of gamma motor neurons increases the muscle tone. Lesion in gamma motor neurons leads to loss of tone in muscles. Regulation of muscle tone. Though the muscle tone is developed by discharges from gamma motor neurons, it is maintained continuously and regulated by some supraspinal centers situated in different parts of brain. Some of these centers increase the muscle tone by sending facilitatory impulses while other centers decrease the muscle tone by inhibitory impulses. Supraspinal facilitatory centers. Supraspinal centers, which increase the muscle tone, motor area 4 in cerebral cortex. Cerebellum. Descending facilitatory reticular system. Red nucleus. Vestibular nucleus. Supraspinal inhibitory centers. Supraspinal centers, which decrease the muscle tone, suppressor areas of cerebral cortex. Basal ganglia. Descending inhibitory reticular system. Role of motor area of cerebral cortex, coactivation. Motor area of cerebral cortex influences the activity of lower motor neurons by sending motor impulses through the pyramidal tract fibers. Motor impulses from cerebral cortex stimulate both alpha motor neurons and gamma motor neurons simultaneously. This type of simultaneous stimulation is called coactivation. It is also called alpha-gamma coactivation. Stimulation of alpha motor neurons causes contraction of extrafusal fibers. Stimulation of gamma motor neurons causes contraction of intrafusal fibers, which leads to increase in muscle tone. Role of cerebellum and basal ganglia. It is interesting to find that cerebellum and basal ganglia influence the muscle tone without sending direct fibers to gamma motor neurons. These parts of brain influence the muscle tone indirectly through brainstem centers. Role of brainstem centers. Brainstem centers which influence the gamma motor neurons are in reticular formation, red nucleus, and vestibular nucleus. These centers modulate the discharge from gamma motor neurons by receiving signals from cerebral cortex, cerebellum and basal ganglia. Abnormalities. Refer Chapter 34 for details of abnormalities of muscle tone. Stretch reflex. Basic reflex involved in maintenance of posture is the stretch reflex, which is described in detail in the previous chapter. This reflex is normally present and serves particularly to maintain the body in an upright position. Such reflexes are, therefore, more pronounced in extensor muscles. Postural reflexes. Postural reflexes are the reflexes which are responsible for maintenance of posture. Afferent impulses for the maintenance of posture arise from proprioceptors, vestibular apparatus, and retina of eye and reach the centers in central nervous system, CNS. The centers, which maintain the posture, are located at different levels of CNS, particularly cerebral cortex, cerebellum, brainstem and spinal cord. These centers send motor impulses to the different groups of skeletal muscles so that appropriate movements occur to maintain the posture. Classification of postural reflexes. Postural reflexes are generally classified into two groups: static reflexes, statokinetic reflexes. Static reflexes. Static reflexes are the postural reflexes that maintain posture at rest. Static reflexes are of four types: general static reflexes or riding reflexes, local static reflexes or supporting reflexes, segmental static reflexes, statotonic or attitudinal reflexes, general static reflexes or riding reflexes. General static reflexes are otherwise called riding reflexes because these reflexes help to maintain an upright position of the body. Riding reflexes help to govern the orientation of the head in space, position of the head in relation to the body, and appropriate adjustment of the limbs and eyes in relation to the position of the head, so that upright position of the body is maintained. When a cat, held with its back downwards, is allowed to fall through the air, it lands upon its paws, with the head and body assuming the normal attitude in a flash. A fish resists any attempt to turn it from its normal position, and if it is placed in water upon its back, it flips almost instantly into the normal swimming position. All these actions occur because of the riding reflexes. Riding reflexes consist of a chain of reactions, which occur one after another in an orderly sequence. Each reflex causes the development of the succeeding one. Riding reflexes are divided into 5 types: labyrinthine riding reflexes acting on the neck muscles, neck riding reflexes acting on the body, body riding reflexes acting on the head, body riding reflexes acting on the body, optical riding reflexes. First 4 reflexes are easily demonstrated on a thalamic animal or a normal animal, which is blindfolded. Labyrinthine riding reflexes acting on the neck muscles. When a thalamic animal, rabbit, is suspended by holding at the pelvic region, its head turns up, until it assumes its normal position. It is because of reflexes arising from labyrinth, the sensory organ concerned with equilibrium of head, in regard to the position of the body. Turning the body of animal through air into different positions is followed by compensatory movements of the head. After extirpation of labyrinths, the head shows no compensatory movements when the rabbit is suspended. It hangs simply like that of a dead rabbit. Neck riding reflexes acting on the body. It is noticed that during labyrinthine riding reflexes, the head raises up to normal position. It is because of the contraction of neck muscles. Now, the contraction of neck muscles produces proprioceptive impulses, which act on the body and rotate the body in relation to position of head. This reflex is well noticed, if the animal is laid down in resting position upon its side on a table. Body riding reflexes acting on the head. Labyrinthine riding reflexes are not the only reflexes acting on neck muscles to cause rotation of head. If the animal is laid down upon its side on a table, the unequal distribution of pressure on that particular side of the body stimulates exteroceptors on the skin. Impulses thus generated by exteroceptors act on neck muscles and rotate the head. Body righting reflexes acting on the body. When the same animal is laid down on the table on its side, with head held down to table, to eliminate labyrinthine and neck righting reflexes, the body attempts to right itself by raising the lower parts. It is because of the impulses from exteroceptors on that side of body acting on the body itself. Optical righting reflexes. Optical righting reflexes are initiated through the retinal impulses. Center for optical righting reflexes is in the occipital lobe of cerebral cortex. So, these reflexes are absent in thalamic animal. Optical righting reflexes help to correct the position of the body or head with the help of sight. It is proved in a labyrinthectomized animal. When such an animal is suspended, it rotates its head to normal position with the help of sight. But, the movements of head do not occur if eyes of the animal are closed. Summary of righting reflexes. Following are the sequential events of righting reflexes. When the animal is placed upon its back, labyrinthine reflexes acting upon neck muscles turn the head into its normal position in space, in relation to body. Proprioceptive reflexes of neck muscles then bring the body into its normal position in relation to position of head. When resting upon a rigid support, these reflexes are reinforced by the body righting reflexes on the head as well as on the body. If the animal happens to be a labyrinthectomized one, then it makes an attempt to recover its upright position as a result of operation of the optical righting reaction. If the optical righting reflexes are abolished by covering the eyes, the righting ability is lost. Optical righting reflexes are also demonstrated in 3 or 4 weeks old baby. When laid down on belly, i.e. prone position, the baby tries to raise the head to a vertical position. Centers for righting reflexes. Centers for the first 4 righting reflexes are in red nucleus situated in midbrain. Center for optical righting reflexes is in the occipital lobe of cerebral cortex, table 157.1. Local static reflexes or supporting reflexes. Local static reflexes or supporting reactions support the body in different positions against gravity and also protect the limbs against hyperextension or hyperflexion. Supporting reactions are classified into 2 types: positive supporting reflexes, negative supporting reflexes. Positive supporting reflexes. Positive supporting reflexes are the reactions, which help to fix the joints and make the limbs rigid like pillars, so that limbs can support the weight of the body against gravity. It is brought about by the simultaneous reflex contractions of both extensor and flexor muscles and other opposing muscles. The impulses for these reflexes arise from proprioceptors present in the muscles, joints, and tendons and the exteroceptors, particularly pressure receptors present in deeper layers of the skin of sole. While standing, the positive supporting reflexes are developed in the following manner. When an animal stands on its limbs, the pressure of the animal's paw upon the ground produces proprioceptive impulses from flexor and extensor muscles of the limbs, particularly in terminal segments of the limbs like digits, ankle, or wrist. The proprioceptive impulses cause reflex contraction of the muscles of limbs, making the limbs rigid. Excessive extension at the joints is checked or guarded by the myotatic reflexes setting up in the flexor muscles. When the flexor muscles are simultaneously contracting, extensor muscles cannot be stretched beyond the physiological limits. Similarly, overactivity of the flexor muscles is prevented by the stretch reflexes developed in the extensor muscles. Impulses arise even from exteroceptors while standing, when the sole remains in contact with the ground. It causes stimulation of the pressure receptors, which are present in deeper layers of the skin. These impulses from pressure receptors reinforce the rigidity of the limbs caused by the proprioceptive impulses. Negative supporting reflexes. Relaxation of the muscles and unfixing of the joints enable the limbs to flex and move to a new position. It is called negative supporting reaction. It is brought about by raising the leg off the ground and plantar flexion of toes and ankle. When the leg is lifted off the ground, the exteroceptive impulses are stopped. When the toes and ankle joints are plantar flexed, the stretch stimulus for the plantar muscles is stopped. So, unlocking of the limbs occurs. Moreover, by the plantar flexion of the toes and ankle, the dorsiflexor muscles are stretched, causing relaxation of the extensors and contraction of the flexors of the knee. The positive and negative supporting reactions are demonstrated well on a decorticate animal. The centers for the supporting reflexes are located in the spinal cord. Segmental static reflexes. Segmental static reflexes are very essential for walking. During walking, in one leg, the flexors are active and the extensors are inhibited. On the opposite leg, the flexors are inhibited and extensors are active. Thus, the flexors and extensors of the same limb are not active simultaneously. It is known as crossed extensor reflex. It is due to the reciprocal inhibition, and the neural mechanism responsible for this reflex is called Sherrington reciprocal innervation. Refer chapter 142 for details. Segmental static reflexes are demonstrated in spinal animal. And, the centers for these reflexes are situated in the spinal cord. Statotonic or attitude